Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Xmen, and today we're going to review XMenApocalypse. Spoiler alert. This is your spoiler alert. If you are not trying to get the movie ruined for you, turn away now. Go ahead and watch my spoiler-free version. If you have seen XMenApocalypse, or if you don't care about spoilers, welcome. Okay, let's get into a quick intro. So the world's very first mutant, Apocalypse, is here to bring on a new world order. And it's gonna be up to District 12. Oh, this ain't that. So it'll be up to the X-Men to unite to take them down. All right, let's get straight into the good.
The good.
First of all, the 3D effects are amazing. Even in the opening credits, it's immediately gonna grab your attention. Throughout the entire movie, the visuals, awesome, just great. I think it's completely fair to say that Michael Fassbender acted his ass off in this movie. It was almost like he was acting in a completely different movie and everybody else just so happened to be there. You felt everything, whether it's his pain, his anguish, his frustration, all of that was beautifully conveyed on the screen with his acting. He was by far one of the most interesting characters that the moment he was on the screen, you were immediately invested. As for the story overall, I thought it was pretty good just because of the fact that it was actually consistent and coherent. Unlike the first 3 X-Men movies, this one actually made sense. So if you're familiar with the past films or you just recently watched them, a lot of things are gonna make sense and it's gonna feel like one big continuous story. During that little nightmare sequence with Jean, I actually liked the fact that they were teasing the Phoenix. I mean, you knew it was coming, but you couldn't really tell, but you knew, we knew. And I was actually kind of set back a little bit. There was a lot more violence in this than I anticipated. It was a little bit gory when you think about Angel's scene when his wings were growing, and just anytime Apocalypse killed somebody, it was like, whoa. I also kind of liked the emotional aspect and how this movie wasn't afraid to go too dark, especially when it came to the death of Alex Summers. I thought that was actually done really well because you saw it and felt it from Cyclops, right? Granted, I have my suspicions why they actually killed him off, but you have to go see that in my bad later. I did enjoy the fact that this movie was able to poke a little fun at itself, like when Jean made that reference to the third movies always being the worst, which this was the third movie of the reboot, right? But poking fun at itself, I think we can thank Deadpool for that. I also enjoyed how they kind of tweaked Storm's origin a little bit. I like the fact that they still kept her in Africa, but this time it was Apocalypse, and it was just a little bit of a tweak. I thought Oscar Isaac was really good as Apocalypse. He was powerful, he was menacing, he was very intimidating, and the entire time you really felt like this was a bad guy. And let's not even get into the fact that he was gonna be a major threat had he actually succeeded in transferring his mind into Professor X. Chaos, madness, wow. Just like we saw in Days of the Future Past, it was also kind of nice to see Quicksilver come back and still bring that comic relief and bring in the little fun moments throughout the movie. Now, one thing I will say I did enjoy was Mystique and Eric, or Magneto's, connection at that moment when Magneto basically was about to help destroy the world and Mystique had that little one-on-one conversation with him. I thought that worked because they spent so much time in the first couple of movies to just show that they had a genuine relationship and a genuine connection. It wasn't just, oh, let me just tell you a couple words of wisdom and get you to come back to the light. It was more like, hey, look, I'm your friend. Remember me? I get you. I understand your pain, but don't blow up the world. Speaking of Mystique, let's get to the bad.
The bad.
We look up to you. You're a legend. We love you. Oh my God, shut up. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Look, I'm a comic book fan, so take this bias with whatever grain of salt you want. But I am not a fan, and I've never been a fan of Mystique, the character, being pushed into the forefront as the reluctant hero. I'm sorry, they were just trying to be a little bit way too creative. This whole idea of Mystique, who has traditionally always been a bad person in the comics, she's never had this, oh, maybe I'm good, maybe I'm bad, maybe I'm confused. No, she's bad. She leads bad people, she kills people, she doesn't care about anybody but herself. The only reason Mystique, this character that has never had any level of stature or elevation like this, is only getting this kind of attention because it's Jennifer Lawrence. Everyone loves Jennifer Lawrence. We look up to you. You're a legend. We love you. Look, the Jennifer Lawrence Mystique love was so ridiculous and eye-rolling and gut-wrenching at some points. Almost every single story, every single angle in the movie always had to come back to her. No matter what anybody was going through, I wonder what Mystique would do. I love Mystique. We get it. Stop. One of the things that was always good about X-Men was the fact that they were always a team. It wasn't always revolving around one central figure. Yes, okay, Hollywood did it with Wolverine, but that was fine because Wolverine was actually a favorite popular character. There's a difference. And they had individual things that you could relate to, but the one thing that always brought them together was their united presence against discrimination. In their world, it wasn't racial issues, but it was mutants versus humans. All of that gets sucked away because rather than focusing on that actual real life tension that was the core of the X-Men, you focus on Mystique, and it's distracting. Did you know in the X-Men, Charles Xavier and Magneto were both based off of the ideologies of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X? That was one of the things that made it so relevant. That's one of the things that made the whole X-Men concept so timeless. When you put Mystique in there, it's a huge distraction, and it completely erodes any other type of issues that you're trying to deal with. When you go and revise the source material that much, you can't expect for people not to have problems with it. Now, it's one thing if you want to just sit there and have different little splices and changes, that's okay, but don't go deviate from left field. Nobody is gonna want to go see a Batman movie where Poison Ivy is leading Robin and Batgirl against crime because she wants to be the reluctant hero. That's crap. No, seriously, it was so ridiculous that literally Cerebro was redesigned around her. As for Alex Summers, honestly, I think they really killed him off because had he lived, Mystique wouldn't have been the actual leader. But of course, they had to kill him off so that Mystique could have the forefront. Go Mystique, we love you. And save all the comments about me being misogynistic or anything like that, because that's far from the case. Because actually, I would have been a little bit more comfortable had they had done something like, I don't know, cast Jennifer Lawrence as Rogue. Somebody who actually was an X-Men, who actually may have had the opportunity to lead the X-Men. Or why didn't they highlight Storm? Somebody who actually did lead the X-Men in the comics. Someone who's black and a woman. You got two wins right there. And let's just get the big elephant out of the room. Her entire performance in XMenApocalypse was lazy. You know why? Because she was Katniss. She was Katniss from the Hunger Games the entire time. Oh, I don't want to be a hero. No, I don't want to lead. Okay, I'll lead. You know, I'm the new leader, but I don't really want to lead. Like, shut up. Okay, Wolverine. First of all, Fox, what are you thinking? Why would you show this in the trailer? The whole movie tried to build up the Wolverine scene so that it would be an actual surprise. And it almost would have been. Had you not shown that trailer and spread the news on Twitter and social media and stuff, like, stop it. Leave some surprises to be a surprise. It worked in First Class. Remember when we didn't know Wolverine was gonna make that quick little cameo and then all of a sudden he came in, dropped his little F-bomb and left? That was great. It was awesome. People loved that. And by the way, Wolverine looked real corny in that mask. They at least could have given him the full mask, you know, with the visors and stuff that would have covered up his face. That would have been great. He was still a savage, like he was killing everybody. Now, I know I said earlier I liked the tease of the Phoenix, and you know what? It was kind of cool to see the tease, but the fact that they rolled it all the way out at the end, I was like, really? I'm not a fan of the screaming Phoenix. What the hell was that? And then on top of that, you go and kill the most powerful mutant ever. Your strongest villain ever. Who the hell is left to fight? What do you do now? The only thing I can think of is maybe they just go fight the Phoenix when she can't control it, but we've been down that road already, right? They could have at least done something like, okay, everybody teams up against Apocalypse and hey, we just trap him again for like another 10 years, 20 years, whatever. Okay, let's just go to the reason.
The reason.
XMenApocalypse was really about more of the same. There was nothing really new or exciting or different about this movie. For me, it was kind of equal to Days of the Future Past. However, with the constant Jennifer Lawrence / Mystique references, this felt like Hunger Games with mutants. But because of the fact that it still had some action, which was good, still had the visual effects, which were great, had some good acting from Fassbender and Isaac, it wasn't that bad. So when it comes to the rating for XMenApocalypse, I'm gonna have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Yes, it's still worth the watch in theaters. No, it's not the most epic comic book movie ever. Yes, it is better than Batman vs. Superman, and disregard my last video for it. Look guys, I was a little drunk that day, right? So So don't go comparing that. Just disregard that. Click on it. I need the views. I would encourage you to watch it in 3D if you are gonna go and see it. I'd highly advise to go in with low expectations, so at least you can get the best out of this movie that you can. Oh, and by the way, there is one post-credit scene, so make sure you stay until the end. By the way, parents, be advised there's at least one F-bomb that is dropped, and for the most part, this movie is not a kiddie movie anyway. Like, there's a lot of violence and gore that, like, if your kid is under, I don't know, 13, like, don't bring them to this. This is not something that, oh, the X-Men are on, oh, they're on TV and cartoons. That's not this movie. Don't do that. Don't be that parent, please. So if you have seen X-Men Apocalypse, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it was better than Days of the Future Past? Do you think it was better than First Class? Do you think it's like the worst X-Men ever? Let me know. If you're interested in hearing what other critics had to say immediately after watching X-Men Apocalypse, go ahead and check that video out, and be nice. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Well, that's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. You can always follow me on my Instagram and Twitter at spoiler-free. You can always get more of my reviews on my main website, emensmoviereviews.com. And while you're there, sign up for my email list. That way you never miss any of my reviews. Have you still not seen Captain America Civil War? Well, you can watch my spoiler-free version of it right here, or you can watch my spoiler version and we could talk about what happened in the movie. I got more reviews to do, and until then, I'll see you later.